All right. So the last question is from, I think this is from Mook Allen. I
What
think
up,
it
Mook?
is. What's
Long
going on?
time supporter.
Yes, yes. He says if Phoenix gets the number one pick, should they pass on Zion for Morant? Um, should they or will they? The answer is the question is should they? Um, I think they should. I think that he changes them on the basketball court more than Zion does. I think he is a more natural fit for what they need than Zion is. I think he's even a more natural fit for what the game of basketball is today than what Zion is. I wouldn't say that's the answer for every team, but it just happens to be that Phoenix really, really needs a point guard, right? So because of that, I say that. But this is bigger than just basketball. Zion Williamson is about to be that guy from a commercial and marketing standpoint. And I don't know that any team from a business standpoint can afford not to draft him if they need it. They
I'm gonna go the other way on that. Even though on any of my teams, I probably prefer to have John Morant.
Mhm,
But for Phoenix in particular, I think what they need, I think they have a lot of needs,
mhm.
right? They have Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, and a lot of problems. So both Ja and Zion would be good for them. Ja Morant at this point looks like it's going to take a while for him to become a good defender. So like now part of that is he's young and the responsibility he's had on that team to do so much offensively. But Zion looks like he's going to be an excellent defender from pretty early on.
Mhm.
He projects to be a pretty good rebounder, and he's also looks like he's going to be a great fast break guy.
Oh,
I think,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
with Zion helping DeAndre Ayton and Booker on the perimeter, and the fact that Ayton looks like he's going to grow into a pretty solid shooter, I think it's pretty easy to find a point guard to facilitate that group. And there's a few young point guards who look like they're going to be available, like Alonzo Balls and stuff like that. I think getting an NBA point guard and putting it together with Booker, Zion, and Ayton would be nearly as good as getting John Morant and putting him with Booker and Ayton and filling that middle spot with an Ariza or somebody else. And because of the fact that Zion's going to bring so much revenue, in addition to the fact that I think Phoenix is one of the teams he helps on the court the most, I would actually say Phoenix is in a good position to get Zion. I think that would be a good pick for them.
Yeah. And then not to mention the fact that you want the Knicks to have Ja anyway. So
Well, I do want the Knicks to have Ja, but here's the thing with Zion. It's not that I don't want the Knicks to have Zion.
no, yeah,
It's
I
just
know.
that Ja looks like a sure thing. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
If Zion turns out to be the best player in the draft, it wouldn't shock me because he's a one of a kind thing. We don't know what it is,
Hmm.
So, but at the same time, as Gilbert Arenas said, when you hear the guy is as tall as Russell Westbrook but as fat as Shaq, you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, it's just a unique thing.
Yeah, I think he's taller than Russell Westbrook, but
Gilbert
I
was exaggerating
yeah.
slightly, but he's a lot closer to Russell than he is to Giannis.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think he's going to measure about 6'6.5" in shoes, which six
Yeah.
and 6'7". I think I think out of shoes he's about 6'5", and I think in shoes he's about 6'7". 6'5.5", just I've gotten really good at estimating what these combine heights are going to be by
Uh-huh.
looking at players. I've been looking at the out of shoes and in shoes measurements. I'm willing to bet 6'5 1/4" barefoot, 6'7" in shoes. I think that's probably where he'll be. Um, the thing that scares me about Zion is that the moment he's not a freak athlete is the moment he's not special anymore. And that scares me.
Hmm.
It scares me from an injury standpoint. It scares me from a longevity standpoint, whether be it because of injury or just aging. It scares me because at his height, with the style of game that he has to be a freak to be as good as to be good. Because if
Well,
he's
see,
not a freak, he's not great.
the reason I'm not sure about that is because there are undersized forwards in the league who do very well. Like Zion. So, for instance, Zion, he, if he's not as athletic as he is, theoretically, he could still be better than Paul Millsap, right? Now, Paul
Okay.
Millsap is an unnaturally good rebounder
Mm-hmm.
and has become a good shooter.
Mm-hmm.
But Zion is an unnaturally good penetrator of the basketball. And it's not just handle, there's also that shiftiness and
No,
reaction time
he has quick twitch athleticism that is insane.
and the decisions that he makes with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are people who have similar athleticism on the ground, right? Not once he jumps, it's a whole different beast. But even on the ground, Zion does stuff, spin moves. That's why the comparison I was making was like, in a way, he's like a gigantic Dwayne Wade in that
No,
some of them,
I don't think that's a bad. I don't think that's a bad
yeah,
comparison. I because it's his feet, man. His feet
yeah.
are so good. His feet are so good. Like the areas that he fits into, and the moves that he makes in small spaces. I'm convinced that this dude could be an all-world running back and an all-world a pass rusher. Like
Yeah,
his
yeah.
feet and short burst are so good that it's. But my worry is if something happens and he loses a bit of that. You mentioned Paul Millsap. Well, Paul Millsap didn't become an all-star level player until he could shoot.
Hmm.
Now, if Zion gets to the point where he can shoot, then of course that helps him a lot. But then even then, if he's not the athlete that he is now, he's a capable stretch four, essentially, and who's really with a really strong base, who can defend bigger guys in the low post because he's so strong. But he's not that guy on offense, because now at this point, if he loses any athleticism, he's a stretch big, and he got to be able to, and he's got to improve his jump shot to even be that.
What he really has to improve is his general game. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that are just your game that he has to improve, but he has. I think you can't underestimate what a great kid he seems to be.
Oh yeah, no, I think
He
he seems
seems,
like a great kid, man.
yeah, intelligent, well spoken, media
Everything,
savvy,
and
you great
humble.
attitude, humble, joyful. Like that stuff matters
It
because those
really
guys,
matters. It really
like
matters.
he lifts a locker room. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's that Steph Curry effect to a degree. It's not just the jumper. If
yeah.
Steph's jumper's outstanding, don't get me wrong,
No, it's
but
everything. Steph's a good
he
person to be around, it seems like.
correct. He's a fountain, not a drain,
Yeah.
right? So I give Zion a little bit of more of the benefit of the doubt because he's so young and he's so good at the one thing that he hasn't had to do the other stuff. And he appears to be getting better. He appears to excel in pressure situations. So I want to take the leap with him. And I
Hmm.
tend to be very conservative when evaluating talent, but it's a combination of the fact that his instincts are great, his attitude's great, he's eager to learn, and he's a good defender.
Yeah.
Dives on loose balls. So because he has that stuff and is a good finisher, I'm looking at the Kenneth Farieds and the Julius Randles and the Paul Millsaps. And the thing is, a lot of those undersized forwards are way worse defenders than Zion. Then you have who Draymond has not nearly the offensive talent of Zion. Even though at his peak, Draymond was, a decent shooter, not great, but enough to keep you honest.
Hmm.
Zion looks like he could be at least peak Draymond shooting wise. So if he turns out to be Draymond with an offensive game, but he also sells tickets. Great in the full court. That's not a bad deal.
No,
He doesn't
no,
have to
no.
be an
I
MVP.
don't
You know what
think
I'm saying?
anybody. I don't think you can go wrong picking him for so many reasons. I mean, who could pick Zion Williamson and get criticized for it?
Right.
Come on. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like what? You know what I'm saying? Like you can't. Um, so that's why I wouldn't expect. I mean, because to be honest with you, you actually are gambling more taking Ja than you would be gambling taking Zion, because everybody considers Zion the sure thing. If Zion is a bust, nobody can criticize you for it.
Right.
Nobody can.
But if you
Nobody.
pass on Zion, then it's like, what
And
are you
it,
doing? But and I
yeah,
think the real thing with Ja is if Ja, even if Ja turns out to be everything he looks like he's going to be, and Ja has elite point guard ceiling, right?
mhm,
He's literally got every offensive tool in the book. Even his shooting, not the greatest, but far from bad,
right.
right? So even if Ja becomes that in his first 2 years, he might have one or two De'Aaron Fox years, right? Like De'Aaron Fox, again, he's in that same group. He could, if he wound up being the best point guard in the league, nobody'd be shocked, right? He
Yeah.
has all the tools: fast jumps, shoots, great passing, all that, right? But his first year, he was trash, total trash. First year, bad young player. Takes time. The problem with Ja taking time is you might wind up losing Devin Booker. That's the issue. With
Hmm.
Zion, I think Zion might be better earlier
He will.
because, you
He
know what I'm
will.
saying? Because that athleticism, especially, he's going to drop 10, 15 pounds of baby fat between now and, training camp. So if Zion comes in super fit, that athleticism with the defense, Phoenix might wind up winning 38, 40 games next year, and you get to keep Devin Booker and then pick up, LaMelo Ball next the season after, whatever you wind up doing.
Yeah. Just so you know, Giannis had 45, 12, 6, and 5 tonight.
Woo! MVP. MVP.
That's crazy. So
That's
yeah,
great. That is
that
bananas.
that dude is insane. But all right, guys, that's what we got for you today. Appreciate you guys coming through as usual. Uh, be on the lookout for the next episode, which is going to be on Thursday. And also, if you missed any part of this particular show, it will be cut into some
Yo,
segments and just
before
be
we go, real
periodically.
quick,
Yeah,
before we go, just you brought up Giannis. I just looked at his line. 16 of 21 from the free throw line.
yes,
13 of 22 from the field. 5 blocks.
5 blocks. Yep.
That's if he don't win the MVP, I'm done discussing that award as some accolade. I'm
Yeah.
done. There's already been plenty of controversial MVPs that so and so should not have gotten. You look at the amount Shaq has, the amount Tim Duncan has, and you like some Jason Kidd definitely should have gotten. You're like, wow.
Dwayne
If he,
Wade.
yeah, if he don't win this MVP playing like this, wire to wire for the best team in the league, both sides of the ball,
I mean, dude, it's the best team in the league. It's the last freaking week of the season. You know what I'm saying? And he's got 45, 12, and 5 blocks when he
beating a
probably
rival.
should be sitting.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it probably should be sitting. I mean, they already do. They already have the conference locked up.
Did Bledsoe get hurt? He only played 3 minutes. What's up with that? He's a
Uh
+8 in 3 minutes. What happened in that 3 minutes? Yeah, we gotta look into that.
he had to get hurt. He had to get hurt. I can't imagine he had to get hurt. He played 3 minutes. He had to get hurt. No, he got ejected. Oh, I knew that. He got ejected.
He got ejected,
He threw the ball at Joel Embiid.
and they still beat Philly.
Yeah.
And by the way, Chris Middleton was 7 for 18, and Brooke Lopez was 4 for 12, and Brown was 5 for 12.
And on the road. This is in Philly.
And Giannis destroyed Philly. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
They get 20 points out of George Hill.
Yeah. Yeah. And
It was
Embiid
a big pickup for them.
Embiid had a triple double, 34, 13, and 13.
Good for him.
Yeah. Wasn't enough.
He's a great player. Honestly, he's a great player.
Dude. Ben Simmons had 6.
That's unacceptable. We broke that on this show. One of
Yes.
the most disappointing players of the season. He has work to do.
Yes. 3 for 5 from the field. He took 5 shots.
Totally unacceptable.
Yeah. And it was a -7. That ain't gonna work out.
No,
So
Milwaukee's too efficient for you to have that much of a minus out of somebody getting that many minutes.
yeah, that ain't gonna work out.
No.
All right, peeps. I appreciate y'all coming through. God bless and peace.